here's the Bilimbi, and the Bilimbi actually grows really close to the bark, just like that. These little clusters. And this is related to Starfruit. Starfruit is actually right over, not that one, that's Noni, but over here. Let's see. Starfruit. And those are not growing the same way. They're growing off the branches, not close to the bark. But yeah, they are two different species of the same genus. You can kind of see a little bit of a resemblance, especially when they're small like this, just more of a star shape to it. Greetings everybody. So today I have two different starfruit relatives. I've got this guy, the typical starfruit that you would find at a market, and I also have a Bilimbi. On the outside it looks quite different, very small, it's picked green, not star-shaped. It's kind of disappointing, but it is quite popular here in Southeast Asia, where I am right now. I'm in Thailand, by the way, and how it's used most typically is, well, either people eat it out of hand with salt, because it is quite sour, or you'll cook with it. So sometimes you'll find this at a market, not in the fruit section, but in the vegetable section. Although the starfruit is star-shaped, and one of the fun things about it is that if you cut this, you get a little star. Cute. The Bilimbi on the outside is not so interesting, but when you cut this open, you also get a little star. It's just the pattern inside is star-shaped. Okay, so as a reminder of what starfruit tastes like, I love starfruit. The flavor of starfruit, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's like in the direction of like grape, like a white grape, but a really, really, really good white grape, and not like every component of the white grape. It's got like a few little extra things in there, but it's like in that sort of world. Tartness on it, just a little bit. It's quite low though. It's like a 2 out of 10. You know, it's a fairly well-developed one. And sweetness, say around the sweetness of an apple, maybe a little bit less. That is the regular starfruit. The Bilimbi, however, packs a punch. The nice thing about this, it's really crisp. You bite into that, it's really refreshing. It's similar to the starfruit, but maybe even more crisp. That's really nice about it. Nice and juicy, but it is very sour. It's not as sour as a lemon, but it's pretty close. It's like 9 out of 10. It tastes a bit like a really sour, like unripe grape. If you ever had like verjus, which is a juice made from unripe grapes, it kind of has that. Verjus means green juice, and it has a little bit of a green sort of flavor, somewhat of like a chlorophyll taste, like grassy, I guess. So to try to neutralize some of that sourness, I'm gonna put some salt and chili powder mixture on that, and be bold. Damn. Ugh. Don't need coffee today. It's perks you up. There's a lot of intense flavors in that. Very sour, but also with that salt and chili gives it even more punch, but at the same time kind of neutralizes some of that sourness. It makes it easier to take it that way. Every time I talk about starfruit, people in the comments mention something that I probably should be mentioning, so I will mention it now. If you have any issues with your kidneys, you do not want to eat starfruit, because it can have a negative effect on you. I think it might be that there's oxalic acid in this, and that is also the case with the Bilimbi. Probably even more so. So if you got problems with your kidneys, don't touch these guys, don't eat them. But for everybody else, really, really good. Well, I am in New York City right now in the future, and you know, like when I make videos, I want it to be like a whole story. You know, I don't want it just to be the fruit. You know, there's a lot of videos online of people just shoving fruits in your face, and that's it. But I want to show what the plant looks like, you know, how it grows. Try the fruit to see what it's like, kind of like look at it anatomically. But then I want to do something with it. And in the case of the Bilimbi, it's kind of difficult because, you know, I found this in Thailand and I was staying in a hotel, and at the hotel, couldn't really cook. Now that I've returned to the United States, I am looking around everywhere for some sort of version of the things that I found while I was traveling. That way I can do something with it. And for the Bilimbi, I'm like, there has to be Bilimbi somewhere. Somewhere. It's used so often around the world. So many people use it. I went to an Indian grocery store and I found Bilimbi pickles. I mean like Indian pickles, not regular plastic pickles or something. Indian pickles are like big punch of sourness, heat, garlic, onion, like all that stuff. Very powerful things. And by the way, Bilimbi actually has the nickname pickle tree because, you know, well, the fruits look kind of like little pickles and they're very sour like a pickle would be. So it kind of makes sense, and also makes sense that someone would want to make pickles out of it because they do pack a punch. And it's not just Indian pickles. In some parts of the world, people prepare them, you know, with vinegar, salt, and sugar and stuff like that, like you would do with like a cucumber pickle. I believe in the Dominican Republic, that's a very popular thing. That would be great to try. But where I ended up finding the Bilimbi fruit was actually at a Filipino market. And that is because in the Philippines, there is a very, very popular traditional dish called sinigang. Sinigang is like a sour soup, usually made with pork or salmon. The souring agent to it is either the Bilimbi, tamarind, or green tamarind, usually, or a mixture of those things. So I would actually like to try that in the future, but I'm not going to do that today just because I don't have all the ingredients for it, but I do have all the ingredients for something else, chutney. Turns out I'm running low on coconut chutney, and I managed to find a recipe for Bilimbi chutney that uses coconut in it. This is the sort of thing, like if you have Bilimbi growing around, you would use this because you have it on hand. It's not something that you're going to find at like a grocery store or anything like that. And the recipe that I'm following actually calls for you to cook the Bilimbi, so I think using frozen ones will work just as well. So yeah, I'm out of chutney. Let's make some more. And here it is. So in order to make this, I took 4 rather large Bilimbis. I boiled them for a few minutes so they would soften. Then I blended them up with 3 garlic cloves, 1 habanero pepper, half a cup of grated coconut, a little bit of salt. I think that's about it. Very easy, and everything I used is frozen, except for the garlic. And I suppose you could probably use frozen garlic also. You just defrost everything and blend it together. Really, really easy thing for me to make. And I made this because I just happened to have like all these things already. I did, however, buy some vada and idli and sambar, also from frozen. So this will probably be better if you make all these things fresh, but you know, considering that I was able to whip it all together just using frozen things that I had on hand, not too bad. Is it good though? That is the question. So I'm going to take one of these vada, and for those that haven't had vada, have them. They're really, really good. They're like a lentil flour donut, kind of like deep fried little fritter. Ooh, yeah. That's got a kick to it. The chili pepper in there is actually not the hottest part. The garlic in there, because they've got 3 rather large raw garlic cloves in there. The garlic steals the show. The Bilimbi doesn't, if I'm going to be honest. But the Bilimbi is there because these are tart. And that tartness is not really like, like lemon or anything. Like usually chutneys do have lemon in them. At least if you buy them from the store, they do. Instead of having like a citrusy taste, it has a different kind of sourness. It's more like a sour grape or a sour apple, but at the same time, it is its own thing. It's definitely its own thing, and it's good. It's good. Let me try a little bit more. I'm gonna try a little bit of idli. And once again, if you haven't had an idli, have an idli. They are really, really nice. Little steamed rice flour kind of South Indian treat. These idlis are not very good, to be honest. But the chutney is. The chutney is. Yeah, it's not like anything like too crazy. You know, Bilimbi is like a very sour fruit, but it's sour in its own kind of way. I think the best way to enjoy Bilimbi is just raw on its own with a little salt on it, because then you get to enjoy the crispiness of it. In this chutney, you don't get that crispiness, but it is still nice. It's a nice way to add sourness to a food without adding like a citrusy sort of flavor. It's a little bit more neutral than a lemon or a lime. So I think that's about it for the Bilimbi. Thank you so much everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time. I would like to give a very big shout out to Smarter Everyday, Bill T, and WootBot. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. This is how I managed to keep this channel going, so it is a huge help to anyone watching who is interested in learning more about how you can help the channel and get some cool stuff in return, like early access to videos, exclusive videos. There's actually over 100 of them already that you can get access to. There's a level where I'll send you stuff in the mail. You gotta check it out. There's more information about this down in the description below.